Millions of years ago, a podcast hit Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is Throw Smiley, and I'm going to send you a SoundCloud to my link to my mixtape if you want. Who's joining me this week?
Please don't make me listen to your music. I'm Brian Lesh.
I'm just feeling it, and I'm Jeremy Reed.
Like an antelope in headlights, I'm Alaric Weber.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's your weekly superhero podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production of the source material, then we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can be a patron too. Just head over to patreon.com/harmless entertainment. We got lots of bonus content there. We got Star Wars miniseries, holiday shows, music shows. We have a new monthly movie coming up. The Mist should be up there within a day or two for our April monthly movie. $1 a month is all you need to start listening. That's patreon.com/harmless entertainment. Go on over, check it out. This week, however, on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching Black Panther.
I have seen gods fly. I've seen men build weapons that I couldn't even imagine. I've seen aliens drop from the sky.
Yeah.
But I have never seen anything like this. How much more are you hiding?
Hold up. Let's go.
We are home. My son, it is your time.
Show me my respect and bow down.
You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be. Don't freeze.
I never freeze.
The revolution will not be televised.
Show me my respect and bow down. We own now. We own now. We only getting started now. Cause we own now. Everybody think they know me now. Cause we own now. You and I'm my homie now. Cause we own now.
I waited my entire life for this. The world's gonna start over. I'ma burn it all.
What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out.
Wakanda Forever!
The revolution will not be televised. Let's have some fun. The revolution will be live.
Black Panther. It was released on February 16th, 2018. It has a running time of 134 minutes. It cost $200 million, and it made $1.3 billion. So it was a little bit of a hit there.
I feel like I ask this all the time. Is this our first Oscar-winning superhero movie?
Is it? Well, I think there were some
Dark Knight one.
Yeah.
Right.
Heath Ledger got one, but I think there's been throughout the years a few technical ones here and there, like effects ones. So I don't know. I'd have to go back. I'm pretty sure Superman won an effects award somewhere.
Is this the first MCU film that won an Oscar?
Again, I don't know about the technical side. This is certainly the first and thus far only superhero movie to be nominated for Best Picture.
There we go.
That's that's a very important like first for the genre. I mean, yeah, there hasn't been one since. I know it was only a few years ago, but unlikely there's going to be another one anytime soon.
Zack Snyder's Justice League was robbed, obviously.
Oh my gosh.
Morbius, they're at the Oscars next year. I'm sure Morbius will get a nod.
This is true. Michael Morbius, MD, may just sweep up. You don't know.
It made more $1 billion.
Yeah, it's the highest grossing film of all time, right?
Exactly.
It's true.
No, Zack Snyder's Justice League did technically receive an Oscar statuette for when The Flash entered the speed zone. It got the special Viewer's Choice Oscar thing that they added this year.
Wow.
Which is not technically a real Oscar, but Zack Snyder gets the little statue.
I wonder, did they let the fans name that award? Because I'm surprised they didn't name it like Bodie McBoatface.
Oh God, yeah, they would.
Well, my real question is, if Ezra Miller had been in the audience to accept it, would there have been 2 fights at the Oscars that night?
Ooh, yeah. So, Black Panther made a lot of money. And that means it's time for us to play the box office top 10 game. This is the game where I am going to describe the top 10 movies of the week of February 16th, 2018. And the fellas here are going to try to guess what that movie is. You ready to guess some stuff, guys?
Wakanda Forever.
Guessing stuff.
Guessing stuff is what we're here for. Okay, coming in at number 10 that week. A cover-up spanning 4 U.S. presidents pushes the country's first female newspaper publisher and her editor to join an unprecedented battle between press and government. This stars Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. Directed by Steven Spielberg.
Oh.
Fuck. I have no idea.
It's
is it the name of a newspaper? Is it The Post?
It's The Post. It's exactly The Post. Yeah, The Post. That's the movie that Steven Spielberg made while he was waiting for them to. So he made Ready Player One. He shot it, and then he had to wait for them to finish the CGI, and he got bored. And while he was waiting for them to do the CGI, he called Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep and said, "Let's make The Post while I'm waiting for post-production on Ready Player One."
Wow.
Yeah, that man's... Yeah. He's gotten good at making movies. Like, he can just do it when he's bored. At number 9, ensconced in her sprawling mansion, an eccentric heiress believes she is haunted by the souls of people killed by her progenitor's invention. This
Ensconced in Wisconsin.
Ensconced in her mansion. Ensconced in Wisconsin. I think is. Wasn't that the name of a?
This is a bad week for me.
Yeah. It stars Helen Mirren.
Is this the Nazi Gold one?
No, this is. It's based on a true story. And it's a famous place. You can actually go visit it. It's in San Jose. It's called Winchester. So the Winchester mansion is this crazy, crazy place where because she thought the ghosts of everybody that died from Winchester firearms were haunting her. So she kept having contractors build this mansion out so that there's like hallways that lead to nowhere and doors that open up on like drops from like the 3rd floor. Like, it's a crazy, crazy, like, funhouse mansion. And she did all of this so that the ghosts wouldn't be able to find her.
She should have called the Ghostbusters, man. They'll take care of that.
They will.
Also, She should call the gas
Don't
company.
ghosts walk through walls?
Yeah.
Well, don't. Not her ghosts, apparently. Yeah. No, she probably should have had a carbon monoxide detector. Is what she really needed.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that is number 9. At number 8. Oh God. All right. Young hero Thomas embarks on a mission to find a cure for a deadly disease known as the flare. I didn't change a single word of that, by the way.
Maze
is this
Runner?
Yeah.
Office Space 2? Oh, Maze.
Yeah, Jeremy, familiar with Maze Runner. Which one, though?
3, 2,
I don't
8.
know. It doesn't have the number. It's called The Death Cure.
The Death Cure?
Cool.
Why didn't they call it Immortality or something?
Yeah.
The Death Cure.
Maze Runner.
Nah, G, see, you're misinterpreting. Death is the cure.
Oh, gotcha.
One of those forever sleeps.
Like a forever purge. That always reminds me. It's like, oh, he went to Jared to get his purge. It's a forever purge. Anyways, at number 7 for the week of February 16th. Oh, set at the dawn of time when prehistoric creatures and woolly mammoths roamed the earth. This movie tells the story of Doug along with sidekick Hognob as they unite his tribe against a mighty enemy, Lord Nuth, and his Bronze Age city to save their home. Is this? Oh, it is a
I'm
comic.
going to guess the Croods.
No, it's not the Croods. It's made by the Wallace Gromit guy.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, I forgot this existed.
Yeah, I never saw this.
It's called Early Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Do you have a name on who the voice was? I forget. It was somebody famous.
Oh, who the lead? It was. Let's see. I will be able to tell you. It was by the guy that wrote your Chicken Run. No, it does not tell me here. I would have to IMDb it. I think wasn't it like Michael Cera or something like that?
Yeah. Early Man.
I don't know.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie Redmayne.
Oh, okay.
That's who it is. And Tom Hiddleston were in this.
Interesting.
Yeah. Huh. So was Maisie Williams. That's interesting. Anyways.
At
Very British.
Yeah, very British. At number 6, this movie celebrates the birth of show business and tells of a visionary who rose from nothing to create a spectacle that became a worldwide sensation.
The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, they really glossed over a lot of stuff that P.T. Barnum did. Like a lot.
I remember a friend asked me if I wanted to go see that or this, and I laughed in their face.
Oh my, yeah. Wow, yeah. At number 5, 3 courageous young Americans prevent a terrorist attack on a train.
Is that Clint Eastwood one?
Yep, yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
This is based on a
I'm
true
not gonna
story,
remember the
too.
name. It is based on a true story, yeah.
It's like kind of named after the train route.
Not the train
Speed
to Busan.
3. Keanu's not in this one.
It's the 1517 to Paris.
Oh.
Yeah, it's my reaction also. Number 4 this week. 4 teenagers are sucked into a magical video game, and the only way they can escape is to work together to finish the game.
This is
Gauntlet.
not Jumanji. The video.
It
is Jumanji. It's a game.
Yeah, it's Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, and Karen Gillan.
This was way better than it should have been.
Yeah. Yeah, legitimately, all the Jumanji sequels really didn't need to be as good as they were.
Yeah, they were surprisingly funny from beginning to end.
Yeah. At number 3 this week, Anastasia and Christian get married, but Jack continues to threaten their relationship. Oh, Jack. This is the third in a series of movies, a trilogy, based on a popular book series that
50 Shades Freed.
Yes. Yes.
How?
I just remember the gal's name was Anastasia. That's the only reason why.
Okay.
And there was no mention of Rasputin, so I figured I'd try it. The only reason I remember the 50 Shades Freed is because the pitch meeting about this is like 50 Shades Freed. It's like, what? Why?
What does that
Why
even
freed?
mean? What does that even mean?
Why not 50 Shades of Red?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like something like, 50 shades but a bitch ain't one. I don't know. Anyways. Sorry.
Or a billionaire.
I think I might watch that movie.
Yeah, 50 shades but a billionaire ain't one. There you go.
Where she becomes
I'm watching
any
of these that aren't the normal one.
I've heard
all
it's
for any of your alternatives.
I've heard it is by far the worst of the three. So if we were to do series of movies, Thoreau, we got to do all three of these.
I mean, it's on the list. There's 3 of them, so it would be crazy because they're based on Twilight fanfic. Like what? Yeah. All right.
Bondage Twilight fanfic.
Yeah. Which
I'm into it, but at the same time, like, what?
Yeah, that series is wild.
It's wild because in Twilight is such like a purity culture, like nonsense. Just it's a mess. It's just so bad. And the fact that someone made a franchise that is arguably just as big, if not bigger, using that as its template.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me. I love it.
Yeah, it's insane. It's truly insane. Yeah. At some point, I have to feel like we're going to get through it. It's only 3 movies. I mean, anyways. At number 2 this week, a rebellious rabbit tries to sneak into a farmer's vegetable garden.
Little bunny foo-foo.
Rebellious.
Peter Rabbit?
Peter Rabbit, yeah. It's an adaptation of the book. And at number 1 this week, shocking us all, T'Challa, heir to the hidden but advanced kingdom of Wakanda, must step forward to lead his people into a new future and must confront a challenger from his country's past.
Okay, so if we didn't know anything about comic book movies, that description would be just as absurd as a lot of these movies with all the names in them.
You know what? That's true. That's true, and that's fair.
Yeah, like hearing that, I'm like, I don't know if I'd see that if I didn't know it was attached to a Marvel thing.
Yeah, if I was
like all these movies where it's like Brad and Jessica are sent on a mission to collect a MacGuffin from Trevor.
Well, yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, you know what? There's someone out there who, when I read that thing about Anastasia, was like, yeah, because Jack's terrible.
Yeah. And we're there for you, people that are very familiar with the 50 Shades movies. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay. We'll be there
That
with
and
you.
Puppet Matter.
So, all right, that is our box office top 10, which brings us to the character and comic book background. Mr. Al Weber, are there characters we have not previously met in these movies? I know we have talked about both T'Challa and Claw.
Did we talk about them at length? I thought
Did we skip T'Challa in Civil War?
We did,
okay.
Because this movie was coming up so soon. Yeah, I went so far as to forget to write down T'Challa's name when we saw Civil War.
Gotcha.
I was like, that was all. I was like, wait, Black Panther. You idiot. It's like, oh yeah. Anyway, okay, so Black Panther T'Challa, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, first appeared in Fantastic Four number 52, July of 1966. Black Panther is the first superhero of African descent in mainstream American comic books, predating the Falcon and Luke Cage, Blade. Those were the next big three, I think.
Well, and at least he has a less ridiculous origin story than the Falcon, because the Falcon's comic origin is insane.
Yeah, that was fun. The creation of Black Panther would predate the formation of the Black Panther political group, party, Black Panther Party, which
was released.
It was released.
Created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in
October of 1966.
Interesting.
The creators swore there were no ties, intended or otherwise.
Yeah, and that actually will play into our story of the production of this a little bit when we get there.
Cool. T'Challa is the king and protector of the fictional African nation of Wakanda. Following his debut story in Fantastic Four, Black Panther would make guest appearances in the Fantastic Four, some more with Captain America in a couple of stories. Then he journeyed from Wakanda to New York City to join the Avengers in May of 1968. Black Panther received his first starring feature in Jungle Action number 5, July of 1973. That issue number 5 was actually a reprint of one of the Panther-centric Avengers stories.
Jungle Action.
Yeah,
Jungle Action.
They had
Jungle
to.
Action.
They couldn't help it. Look, hey, I give them props for giving us a black superhero.
I mean, it was the
Jungle
60s and 70s. I that's about as good as it was gonna get. Like,
Yeah, it's
Hey,
it's
they
not
were
like
doing the thing.
Jungle Fever number 5 or something. Like
hey, don't knock it. That's one of my bookmarked ones on Pornhub.
The 13-issue story arc that ran in Jungle Action numbers 6 through 18, titled Panther's Rage, not Revenge, Panther's Rage, is considered by some as Marvel's first graphic novel, detailing the nation of Wakanda ravaged by revolution against its king, T'Challa.
So was it released as like a single issue instead of spread out as
No, it was
serialized comic?
It was spread out, but the tightness of the story, they just considered that it would, unlike a lot of comic books, which kind of month by month they figure it out. It felt like it was like planned out, all 13 issues, like 200
That's cool.
200 pages of continuous story. The title Black Panther is a rank of office, chieftain of the Wakandan Panther clan. As chieftain, Black Panther is entitled to consume a special heart-shaped herb, giving him a mystical connection to the Wakandan Panther god Bast, and granting him superhumanly acute senses, enhanced strength, speed, agility, and healing.
That's what I found it interesting that the different tribes, I noticed in this movie, their whatever animal is their totem, came from entirely different cultures than sub-Saharan Africa. Like Bast is Egyptian, Hanuman is Indian.
Well, and I have a feeling that their interpretation of that was that this is where those cultural origins began.
And
they
they
were
spread
exports
out.
from Wakanda.
That makes sense.
Civilization started in Wakanda, was how I read into the mythology of this movie.
Let's see. Black Panther has the power to draw upon the knowledge, strength, and experience of every previous Black Panther. T'Challa is an expert martial artist, tactician, and strategist. He is also a genius-level intellect, holding a PhD in physics from Oxford University. As king, T'Challa has access to all of the financial and technological resources of Wakanda. In the distant past, a vast meteorite made of the vibration-absorbing mineral vibranium crashed in Wakanda. The kings of the past concealed Wakanda from the outside world to avoid exploitation by outsiders for this valuable resource. Black Panther's attire is the sacred vibranium costume of the Wakandan Panther cult.
So I have a question about the meteor. I don't know if you've got any other background on the meteor, but its composition of vibranium. Al, you're a scientist. If it absorbs vibration and it connects with the Earth, would it not create a giant shockwave as a result? And would all that energy from the impact be collected in the vibranium itself, ready to be used at any moment?
Did it absorb the shockwave?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and
Right.
and is that energy there?
You have a degree in vibraniology, don't you, Al?
Right.
Yes. Well, it was my minor was in fictional physics. Let's
So
see.
does this mean you could explain to us how lightsabers work?
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah, totally.
What's stronger, vibranium or adamantium? I think we've had this discussion on air before.
Remember, adamantium is an alloy of vibranium and steel.
All right, so vibranium would be the stronger one. Unless an alloy would make it.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they have to like take. So don't ask me why I know this, but I read way too many Wolverine comics as a kid. They take steel and vibranium, and they get something they call carbonadium out of that. Then they use some sort of special Marvel magic irradiation that turns it into adamantium from there.
Interesting.
Science.
Let's see. In 1998, in Black Panther Volume 3, his equipment was expanded to include items such as an energy dagger, a vibranium weave suit, and the portable supercomputer known as a Kimoyo card. In the movie, they're the beads.
That's really cool that the Kimoyo bead originated in the comics as something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2005, Volume 4 saw the introduction of specialized suits like the Thrice Blessed Armor and Light Armor, and Black Panther was briefly equipped with the Ebony Sword of the Black Knight. 2016, Volume 6, that creative team introduced a new suit that allows Black Panther to absorb kinetic energy and redistribute it as energy bursts.
Was that the Ta-Nehisi Coates run?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Some have also considered Black Panther to be Marvel's Batman. With the wealth, he's not so much hiding, but I think it's like he's rich. He makes a bunch of. He's an inventor. He invents a lot of stuff, weapons and whatnot. So that's where they get that. Moving on to Eric Killmonger. Created by Don McGregor and Rich Buckler, first appeared in Jungle Action number 6 in the acclaimed Panther's Rage storyline. That's the one we talked about before. Killmonger is a skilled hunter and mercenary born in Wakanda who holds a grudge against the country after his parents were killed when he was young. They weren't killed by Wakandans. He was born with the name Njidaka. Apologies. His parents were killed by raiders led by Mademwe, a traitorous Wakandan citizen who sold out secrets of his home nation to Ulysses Klaue.
Huh.
Mademwe took the boy and raised him abroad, giving him a new identity, exploiting his gifted intellect for profiteering. The youth grew tired of his life of servitude, murdered his surrogate father, changed his name to Eric Killmonger, and went to study at MIT. Still desperate still desperate to avenge his parents' deaths.
I'm imagining that the admissions board to MIT being like, so you changed your name legally to Killmonger. Why don't we talk about that?
Yeah, anything we should be worried
How you
about?
like them apples?
Killmonger would return to Wakanda after T'Challa became king and brought the hidden country to the attention of the outside world. Killmonger returned as a revolutionary and terrorist, repeatedly challenging T'Challa for control of Wakanda.
T'Challa's like, this guy again.
Yeah. Ulysses Klaue. I keep saying Klaue. They say Claw, but it reads to me like Klaue. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's pronounced Claw because of, he's got the arm thing.
First appeared in Fantastic Four number 53, August of 1966. That was in the second part of Black Panther's first storyline. Son of a Nazi war criminal sent by Adolf Hitler to Wakanda to learn its secrets.
Of course.
Marvel really loved to make everybody's villain a Nazi.
Everybody was a Nazi.
Yeah.
Moon Knight, Captain America, everyone.
Ulysses was raised in Belgium with tales from Wakanda, told by his father. Nazi dad anglicized their name to Claw, K-L-A-W. Ulysses later became a physicist specializing in applied sonics. Working on a sonic transducer that converts sound waves into physical mass, Claw goes to Wakanda to steal vibranium to power his device. Claw comes into conflict with T'Chaka and murders him. He's attacked by young T'Challa and escapes at the cost of his right hand. I didn't see any details. I can only assumed it was hacked off with a sword. Claw resurfaces years later with a prosthetic right hand that is a sonic emitter gun that can create any object or creature as a solid sound construct. He has,
they didn't do that.
God.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the most Marvel sentence ever. A solid sound. What was the word?
Construct. Sound that is so intense that it becomes a solid mass that you can see and interact with.
Claw has built another device that turns him into a being made only of sound, making him immortal in the process.
Oh, Marvel. Every time I think Star Wars has the most ridiculous world building around, Marvel one-ups it.
Yeah, Marvel is nuts sometimes.
One name, Squirrel Girl. That's all you need.
Claw is also a genius-level intellect and was one of the Masters of Evil.
And a decent rapper, surprisingly.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Dude has bars.
Okay. There were a lot more. I'm going to run through them really fast. There were 4 that first appeared in Black Panther Volume 3, starting in 1998. Nakia. She was actually one of the Dora Milaje, meaning the adored ones. And they are, apart from being bodyguards, they are also wives in training.
Wives in training?
Yep.
Oh. No.
I'm glad we dropped that aspect of them in this movie.
Yeah.
Marvel's
And
like
that Nakia was not a Dora, which is great.
Yeah, Marvel's like, here's your representation, but also sexism.
Nakia took the title too seriously and became obsessed with T'Challa. Later, she would become a supervillain, receiving enhanced abilities and senses with help from Killmonger, who named her Malice. She was the second villain to be named Malice. I don't have details on the first one. Then we
was in Clips with Pusha T.
What? Oh.
One was in Clips with Pusha T.
Next, we had Okoye. Also, she was the general of the Dora Milaje. She when she was told that T'Challa had no interest in them as wives, she was okay with it and dedicated herself to being bodyguard and the general of the bodyguards. Zuri, who fought alongside T'Chaka, who as his final act, T'Chaka asked Zuri to watch over his son, and it's assumed that Zuri began training T'Challa at a young age. And Everett K. Ross, U.S. State Department employee, first introduced in Kazar number 17, September of '98. Following month, would go on to become a major character in Black Panther. According to creator Christopher Priest, Ross's personality was based on that of Chandler Bing of Friends.
Oh my. Oh. Could
Well,
Wakanda?
I'm glad that didn't translate to this.
What if they had, instead of casting Martin Freeman, actually just cast Matthew Perry? It's like, could Wakanda be any more technically advanced?
Shuri, she was introduced in Black Panther in May of 2005, T'Challa's genius-level intellect little sister. Eventually would herself become the Black Panther.
There's a lot of rumors about the second one that she may put on the suit.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath for that. That's she's probably not coming back for another one.
Well, there were some issues, right, in the production.
Oh yeah.
So I love Letitia Wright. She's a great actress. She's into some alternative medical ideas and things like
Jeremy
that, and had very strong opinions.
Jeremy is like being so political, like so. How to phrase this? Yeah.
Look, she was popping off crazy anti-vax stuff on the Marvel set, and the mouse was not about it.
Yeah.
Well, and not just that, a bunch of anti-trans stuff.
Oh
too.
yeah,
Ooh,
okay.
yeah.
Really questionable.
She's raised fundy, stayed fundy somehow,
Like,
being an actor.
so anti-vax turf kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a strange intersection there.
Yeah.
We've got Wakabi. He was leader of the border tribe. Didn't see a lot of information on him, but he and M'Baku, the man ape, aka the white gorilla, they both first appeared in Avengers number 62, March of 1969. M'Baku, man ape, was also one of the Masters of Evil. Ramonda was T'Chaka's second wife, stepmother to T'Challa. First appeared in Marvel Comics Presents number 14 in March of 1989. And finally, T'Challa's father, going all the way back to Fantastic Four number 53 in July of 1966. That's all I know about that.
All right. Thank you, Al, for that background there. That brings us to the production of the film itself. So this movie was first put into development in June 1992. Wesley Snipes spearheaded it. He announced publicly that he intended to make a Black Panther movie with him as Black Panther. That
was just before Blade, right? Or
92? Oh, that was a solid, 6 years before Blade?
Okay. Yeah, I remember talking about this when Blade came around.
Yeah. We mentioned it then. So he intended to play Black Panther. He was gonna make it right after Demolition Man. He started. He went into talks with Stan Lee and he started talking to directors, including Mario Van Peebles and John Singleton. Let's see. So it kind of just stayed in development for like 5 years, 5-6 years, and then in the late 90s, after he became Blade, Marvel Comics put a couple of their writers, Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti, to writing a script with the idea that Snipes would produce but not star in the movie, since they thought it would be confusing to have him be both Blade and Black Panther.
This would have been the time to have Denzel play this role, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, so I know one of the fan castings in this movie was when they did the whole like Marvel in the 90s thing was Denzel as Killmonger.
Ooh.
That would
with
have been
Wesley
interesting.
Snipes still playing Black Panther.
That would have been really interesting. Denzel doesn't get to play villains enough. And
the one time he really played a villain, he won an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yep. So yeah, that I mean that's at this point I think probably his most remembered role. Like, is there a movie that he's more remembered for at this point? Like a single movie? But yeah,
I mean maybe Malcolm X.
Yeah, I was just saying Malcolm X is the only
yeah,
other thing I
yeah,
can
okay.
think of that.
Yeah, that being the one that like really put him on the map in the first place. So all right, in the early 2000s, a draft was worked on by David S. Goyer.
Come on, man. Don't let him be Black Panther.
Did anybody even ask him, or was he just like, I don't know, I've been doing this for a long time. I figured it was time. I just made a Black Panther movie.
Showed up on Marvel's doorstep, like, by the way, here's a treatment.
I wrote a script. Here you go. We start filming in 3 days, and Marvel's like, what? Yeah. So when Marvel Studios did their big thing and they got their financing from I can't remember, whatever the bank was that basically put all that money into them. They put Black Panther on their original slate of 10 in 2005, and basically it just stayed in development for like 5 years at that point.
Do
9.
we know what else was on that original slate?
I'd have to look it up. It was Iron Man, it was Thor, Captain America, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel. There's a few
Maybe
that
a Hawkeye.
Maybe there was a few that never got made. Hulk was on there. There's a few that never got made, but I can't remember what they were. Yeah. So let's see. They basically just kept it kind of on the back burner throughout the phase 1 and phase 2. They considered including Wakanda in Iron Man 2, but they decided to wait on it. In 2014, they announced the release date of November 3rd, 2017. I would point out it only got pushed back a week and a half so, in those 3 years, which that's impressive, honestly. Chadwick Boseman was cast in October 2014. He was in Civil War. And then in 2015, it was still in development. They still didn't have a full script. It got pushed back a year. A year and a week. 2018. No, February 2018. Sorry.
Yeah, so 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. 3 or 4 months it got pushed back. They brought in at this point they started interviewing different directors, including Ava DuVernay. Yeah, she would have been interesting. And of course, Ryan Coogler. And eventually they brought Ryan Coogler on. Ryan Coogler, at that point, was probably best known just for Creed. He was coming off Creed, which was, a pretty big hit. It was is part of something we might cover someday because it is part of the Rocky series.
Well, he made that in Fruitvale Station before that,
Fruitvale
right?
Station was his big screen debut. So far, every movie he's directed has had what's his face? Michael B. Jordan in it. He was in Fruitvale Station, he was in Creed, and he was in Black Panther. Those are the only 3 movies Ryan Coogler has directed so far.
And he'll probably be in Black Panther too.
Yeah.
Even if it's just as a ghost or a spirit.
Yeah, and I'm imagining at least in the spirit plane he'll show up.
Yeah.
Because he was a Black Panther. He did eat the heart-shaped herb. He is part of, the ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
They also brought Ryan Coogler has a script credit. He began writing along with Joe Robert Cole. Joe Robert Cole, this was made a movie called Amber Lake, which is not anything anyone really knows about. But he was coming off of The People versus O.J. Simpson when he got hired for this. So he was a co-producer and a writer on The People versus O.J. Simpson when he got brought into Black Panther. He's currently working on Black Panther 2. In between, he wrote and directed a movie called All Day and All Night, which I've never heard of or never seen. But it looks interesting. Stars Jeffrey Wright and Regina Taylor. Our cast. We did talk about Chadwick Boseman in our Civil War episode. Chadwick Boseman, of course, obviously will not be in Black Panther 2, as he did pass away from cancer in 2020. Michael B. Jordan, we did talk about on Chronicle, of all movies.
And Fant Four Stick.
Oh, that's right. He was in Fant Four Stick also. Yeah, he was. Lupita Nyong'o as Nakia. She hasn't been in anything we've talked about before, has she?
Just as Star Wars.
Oh, that's right. We talked about her.
Kanata.
That was only in our on our Patreon. If you'd like to hear us do the Star Wars, all 11 Star Wars movies, that is on the Patreon. But yeah, she was Maz Kanata, which was, I think that might have been when I first heard about her. Where I first became aware of her was for episode 7, and she's so much younger than I thought she was based on Maz Kanata.
Right.
Yeah, that was kind of her big breakout role. 12 Years a Slave, I guess.
Well,
actually,
she's got a statue.
Yeah.
Didn't she get a statue for 12 years?
Yeah, 12 Years a Slave. That was her breakout role. Yeah, she did get a statue.
She's
for that
incredible.
one.
She is one of the most charismatic actors to ever act.
She's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, she was in all 3 of the Star Wars sequels, technically in all 3 of them.
I mean, yeah, doing something.
Yeah.
Get paid.
Yeah.
She got paid. She did great, but also, what the hell was that character even?
Get paid, black woman, get paid.
Get that money.
It was one of J.J. Abrams' little mystery boxes, which both Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams himself decided to do nothing with. I'm sorry, if you want to hear me rant about the Star Wars sequels, that's on the Patreon.
Join us on our Patreon.
Yeah, join us on our Patreon. Or just come to my house. As my child will tell you, I spend way too much time ranting about all 3 of the Star Wars trilogies.
Honestly, if you stand outside of Thoreau's house on pretty much any given evening, you'll just hear, you know what? the worst thing that happened to Star Wars is.
Oh no, Jeremy,
goes.
Jeremy, I don't have time. Don't bring that up because I can't help myself.
You can hear him mumbling under his breath. Somehow, Palpatine returned.
Somehow. Well, Fortnite told us, so
Fortnite
that's
explained
okay.
it. Fortnite explained how Palpatine returned. Yeah. Yeah, you'll just hear me mumbling, somehow Palpatine returned, died of sadness. I think Palpatine died of sadness ultimately in episode 9.
Yeah, he died because he's like, you brought me back for this. This is
so yeah, Lupita Nyong'o. I would be loath to not mention Us, which she was great in.
Oh man, yeah, incredible performance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next up we got Daniel Guerrera as Okoye. Denai Guerrera. Yeah, I was like,
Denai.
I was like, who's Daniel?
Yeah, Denai Guerrera. The eye looks like an L.
There is a Daniel.
Yeah.
There is. Yes. Yeah, we got one coming up, but yeah, she's. I'm looking at her picture. I always forget what she looks like with hair.
Like Michonne.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. She. Let's see. Her first. Yeah. She famously Michonne from The Walking Dead. She's which was probably the best character introduced in season 2. I'd say.
Yeah, she's one of the better parts of the whole show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, oh God, let's see. She got her start. Her first, she did a bunch of TV in the early days. She was on Law and Order a bunch. Life on Mars.
I mean, she's an actor.
Yeah, she's an actor. She's been on Law and Order.
I mean, honestly, if you IMDb'd all of us, I'm sure we've all got credits.
We've all been a dead body in a trash can at some point.
Yeah. I accidentally was on Law and Order this morning, and I didn't even leave my house.
2 kids found me by a creek. I was just asleep. Turns out it was Law and Order.
Yeah.
See a dead body?
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, Richard Belzer walked up to me while I was working on a dock, moving crates from a boat to a truck. And I didn't stop working, even though he was talking to me about police business, because I was busy. Anyways,
I got a lot of fish to unload, man. Can this wait? No.
Denai Guerrera. Her most famous role, of course, was as Fury in Tinkerbell and the Legend of the Never Beast. Oh God, she was in the Tupac movie, All Eyes on Me. I forgot about that. We'll see her again in Avengers and Black Panther 2. Martin Freeman as Everett K. Ross. We did talk about him previously in Civil War. Daniel Kaluuya as Wakabi. Daniel Kaluuya. I don't know. I don't know about this role, but Daniel Kaluuya.
I think you were right the first time.
It's Kaluuya.
No, it wasn't even the name. I was just thinking about
Kaluuya.
I was just thinking about Wakabi and this fucking character. Anyways, in this movie, I feel like they really did him dirty.
He's a frustrating character in this movie.
He really is. I don't know what the hell that was all about, but the first place
low-key, I kind of wonder. I was gonna say, I kind of wonder if you look at the shooting schedule of Get Out versus the shooting schedule of this, if there was any overlap there, because that might explain some things.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I didn't even think about that because he was in Get Out the year prior to this, but they probably would have been shooting around the same time. He was in Sicario. We did actually talk about him in Kick-Ass 2 briefly. He
that's right. He's one of the goons.
He was one of the goons. He played a guy named Black Death. Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of motherfucker's goons.
And don't forget, he was
with the skull on his face.
Yeah. And don't forget, he was in Johnny English Reborn, which Johnny English is a series.
Low-key, I love him in that movie. That Look, I grew up in England, so like,
Oh, Johnny English was a way bigger deal then to you.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Oh wow. Oh, he was the voice of Bluebell in the Watership Down miniseries.
He also had a really great episode of Black Mirror.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
That's
where I saw him first.
the merits one, right?
10 billion merit, yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, that was a good episode. So Letitia Wright as Shuri. We did briefly talk about her, but her screen credits also include My Brother the Devil in 2012. She was in Ready Player One. We did see her briefly in Endgame. Sing 2, she voices Nushi, which I'll take your word for it. Oh, she was in Death on the Nile. I didn't even realize that. She plays the title role in the upcoming Aisha. Is that the story of another bad creation? Anyways,
Or like Muhammad's wife?
yeah, I don't know.
She also was on a very fantastic British show with a lot of British black actors and actresses who like funnel into everything else. Top Boy, just about drug dealing and stuff like that. But she got her start. One of her first roles was on there.
She was also in
But
a
that
black.
show's like funneled tons of black actors and actresses into Hollywood.
She was also she was also in an episode of Doctor Who.
As was Daniel.
Hasn't been.
Yeah.
yeah.
Daniel was actually, he was in one of the Christmas specials. So he was in one I actually would have seen. I kind of checked out somewhere around Peter Capaldi's first season.
Capaldi.
Yeah. So Winston Duke as M'Baku. Winston Duke. Let's see. I mean, this is probably, he was in Us also. I forgot about that. Yeah. This is his first film credit. Prior to this, he was in Law and Order and Person of Interest and The Messengers, a bunch of TV. Oh, he did 3 episodes of Modern Family. The hell was he in Modern Family? Then Angela Bassett played Ramonda.
Hang on, real quick. He, according to IMDb, 2021, there was a short podcast series where he was the voice of Bruce Wayne. It was called Batman Unburied.
Cool.
Yes, that is a horror Batman dramatized podcast.
Interesting.
Curious.
Angela Bassett, I feel like she was in something else we talked about, but I can't remember. Was she like, was she in, God, what was she? I feel like she was in something. I don't know.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, that's the one. I knew we talked about her before. I mean, Angela Bassett got her groove back. She was Stella.
Amanda Waller.
She was Amanda Waller in Green Lantern, yeah. She was in Kindergarten Cop, Boys in the Hood. She was in Malcolm X. Along with Denzel, of course. She played Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It. She's Angela Bassett. Everyone should know who she is. Forrest Whitaker as Zuri. Is this our... I know we talked about him in our Rogue One behind the paywall, but I think this is our first Forrest Whitaker, first time we've talked about him on the main feed.
Thoreau, can I have one moment here?
Yes.
I need to ask a question about Forrest Whitaker.
Yes.
Because he seems to make some very questionable acting decisions sometimes.
Yes.
With regard to the accents that he's choosing to do.
Yes.
So, I have to point out, because it's going to kill me if I don't. This man almost, he was, I know he was nominated, did not win an Oscar for his role as Idi Amin in The Last King of Scotland.
Yes.
Why didn't he do that accent? Why didn't he do that accent?
I don't know.
Where did the powers of the Black Panther will be scripted? Where did that come from? He didn't talk like that at the beginning of the movie, Thoreau.
No, Forrest Whitaker is one of the craziest. Like that. Like his.
It's like Nick Cage energy.
Yeah.
This voice.
Yeah.
He's like, I can do whatever. This will be exciting. People will think it's interesting.
My dude is walking around with a spear and a bottle of grape soda. Just speaking unintelligibly. And all of these super smart people in Wakanda. Is he like the Rafiki of Wakanda? Is that what he's supposed to be?
I mean, kinda.
Jay and I, we watched this movie together, and we were talking about this at length during our watch through. What's his character in Rogue One?
In Rogue One,
Saw Gerrera. Saw
Gerrera.
Yes.
We discussed for a while. Was he trying to differentiate this character from Saw Gerrera?
I don't know because I don't know what Saw Gerrera was. I don't know what he was doing.
Because that was also a weird voice, but that's way less out on the fringe of like what acceptable like human vocal
he
behavior
was like just
is.
raspy. He was like raspy and whispery.
Yeah, he was.
One.
What's crazy?
It's like.
What's crazy is he
bonkers.
came back and did it, and he came back and did the Saw Gerrera for Fallen Order too.
Yeah,
Forrest Whitaker's in Fallen Order.
but at least in
He is.
the Saw Gerrera character, everything he says makes sense within the context of the things he had said before.
Yes.
Whereas this accent,
Yes.
is like he's saying vowel sounds like completely different within the same word and sentence.
Yeah.
Like he'll say it like 3 different ways in one sentence. And you're like, dude, why did you what? Like what?
Look, it's like he walked on set. It's like he walked on set and was just like, "Let's see what I do today, guys."
Yeah. This was the last movie he's made, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. This
was he high on mescaline? Because I'll accept that.
I mean, I think he's probably usually high on mescaline.
He's also high on Scientology.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
Because he was in.
Yeah. Well, remember he did Battlefield Earth with
Travolta.
Crazy Travolta.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. I mean,
and he was going to church functions at one time. I don't know if he's still a Scientologist, but at one point he's definitely in that crowd.
He may be that Will Smith silent brand of Scientology.
Yeah.
We just give them money and pretend not to be associated.
He was in last year's Aretha Franklin biopic.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, someone needs to update his filmology then. So all right. So yeah. The first place I ever saw him was The Crying Game, which I was taken to see at much too in the theater, which I probably shouldn't have been. When did that come out? 92? Well, I don't know. I was 14. It was a confusing movie. That's all I'll say.
I remember him from Ghost
that
Dog.
Might be for me it was great. Well, Ghost Dog was the first thing I ever saw him in because my dad let me watch it and my mom told him not to. And that was a whole traumatizing childhood memory. Great movie though.
Yeah, great movie. Oh, no.
But Forrest, go ahead.
I was just going to say, probably Good Morning Vietnam probably would have been the first place I saw him, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I would have watched that way
Yeah.
younger. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, Ghost Dog, you were saying?
Oh, just Forrest Whitaker, like you said before, Nick Cage energy, because sometimes he turns out like masterclass performances, and then other times you are befuddled with what he's doing on screen. Because Ghost Dog is a great example of a fantastic, super contained type performance that in no way would indicate that he would turn out this kind of like bonkers manic performance he does in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's This performance was insane, absolutely insane. Moving along, we've got Denzel Whitaker, not related, plays him as a young Zuri. Andy Serkis was back as Ulysses Claw. And let's see. Additionally, John Connie and Florence Kasumba reprised their roles of T'Chaka and Io. Atanda Connie plays young T'Chaka. And Sterling K. Brown plays Njobu, Killmonger's
the
dad.
Young T'Chaka actor actually is the older T'Chaka actor's son.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really neat.
Sterling K. Brown. Let's see. I mean, he's probably best known for This Is Us, but he's way too good of an actor for that fucking train wreck of a show, I think.
Too good of an actor for many things he's in. He had one of the weirdest N-word uses in a movie ever in Predators. The new Predator movie, the one that Shane Black did, he just out of nowhere, drops the most random stereotypical black dude line and then goes back to being normal out of nowhere in that movie. And it was one of the weirdest reality breaking moments I've ever seen.
Well, he played Leo McGarry on the West Wing
reunion
reunion for the raising money for the election. Who Leo McGarry was an old white man, but to have Sterling K. Brown step in and play this role in a way that recontextualized the character to be even better, I think it was incredible. I will always think of him doing that whenever I see him now, because it was so surprising how much he stood out as his own character.
I do hope we get to see him again in Black Panther too.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
He's one of the shining moments in this movie. That was like the emotional connection at the halfway point. It was just like, so good.
Well, that about rounds out our production. You guys ready to get into the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. This is Black Panther. We open on a voiceover explaining the origin of Wakanda. Thousands of years ago, a meteorite containing the metal vibranium crashed into Wakanda. There was a war between 5 African tribes over it. One warrior ingested a heart-shaped herb affected by the metal and gained superhuman abilities, becoming the first Black Panther. He united all but the Jabari tribe to form the nation of Wakanda. Over centuries, the Wakandans used the vibranium to develop advanced technology and isolate themselves from the world by posing as a third world country.
So I already have a question. Did the Panther tribe rule Wakanda from the beginning? Or have we had instances where the border tribe or the mining tribe or someone has defeated a Panther tribe member in combat to become the black miner or the black border or the black rhino?
The black
or
rhino,
would they also
or
be the Black Panther? Like I'm confused about the tribal aspect.
Yeah, I imagine they'd be the black rhino or the black gorilla monkey. I don't know. Hanuman's a monkey. He's not a gorilla, but yeah.
I do appreciate that it's not a monolithic culture, but yeah.
I think it is assumed that whoever is in charge, even if they're not of the Panther tribe, they become of the Panther tribe because the Panther tribe is the tribe that is the monarchical tribe. Because the thing is, as anti-colonial and sort of nuanced as the Wakandans are, it's still a monarchy.
Yeah. They are still a monarchy. Well, and honestly, yeah, they are still technically ruling over marginalized ethnic groups within their own country. With the the other tribes, specifically the what was it, the M'Baku? Anyways,
Jabari.
Yeah, thank you,
Jabari.
And also like the border tribe, they, to keep up appearances, they don't live in the city. They live on the border.
Yeah.
Visible to the world. So they have to keep up appearances that they're a third world country.
Yeah.
So they can't really, I don't know. If they have technology in their homes, they have to keep it hidden or something in case anthropologists come by.
Wakabi did have the wrist communicator thing.
True. Yeah.
I think they just do a really good job at hiding.
Yeah.
They have all their tech.
They know when National Geographic is coming by.
Right. Yeah. They're considered a third world African country. So, I mean, there's not a lot of people coming there for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Unless you're coming there for claw reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
We cut to Oakland, 1992. See some kids playing basketball while in an apartment above. Two men are planning some sort of heist. They get interrupted when King T'Chaka shows up with the Dora Milaje. T'Chaka's the brother of one of the men, Njobu, who's working undercover in Oakland. T'Chaka accuses Njobu of assisting black market arms dealer Ulysses Claw with stealing vibranium from Wakanda. Njobu's partner reveals he is Zuri, another undercover Wakandan, and confirms T'Chaka's suspicions. T'Chaka tells Njobu that he will return to Wakanda to face justice for his crimes. And we cut to the Marvel logo.
I love the slow reveal of what actually happened throughout the movie. This is a great example of Marvel. This is none like Civil War, where we get the opening of the movie as the car crash kind of thing, but we don't see the end of it. We see just enough.
Yeah.
I thought this was a really cool use of that same technique. It
Well,
also shows how much of a template they have, movie by movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is the era of Marvel. This is sort of the era of Marvel where we stopped having people who were just like, of course, barring like the exception of like Favreau back in the day, but we have people who are competent directors outside of the genre taking on genre films. And I think shows a lot in the way the story's constructed. And without that, Ryan Coogler isn't used to making superhero movies.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's been the narrative.
Absolutely.
Here.
Between Taika Waititi and Ryan Coogler, those two were really the beginning, and both of those movies were kind of in production at once. Was kind of the beginning of that auteur taking on a Marvel film thing.
I would say they followed in the success of James Gunn.
Oh, Gunn, yeah.
Because James Gunn made what was the Wrench movie?
Yes.
Super.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, we could Slither and Super Guy can make a movie. Sure, maybe he can make a real superhero movie. Still in the genre, but not at the same production level.
Yeah. So let's see. We get a card that reads present day. We're reminded that T'Chaka was killed during the Civil War movie. This is a week later. It picks up. T'Challa and Okoye, the leader of the Dora Milaje, they extract T'Challa's ex-girlfriend, Nakia, from an undercover assignment in a group of human traffickers to tell her that his dad is dead and she needs to come to the coronation ceremony.
When watching this again, I was curious about the timing, and it was a week after the death of T'Chaka. So everything that happened in Civil War obviously happened just before this. But T'Challa has not been crowned king, but he did have Black Panther powers.
Yes.
And so this is a thing. T'Challa's father at some point had to stop being Black Panther. Like, he obviously aged out at some point. And I think that the whole idea in subtext is the crown prince or crown princess becomes the Black Panther as part of their stepping into leadership. Like, you have to be the protector of Wakanda before you can be the monarch of Wakanda.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had prior to Civil War, he had already gone through the Black Panther trials and ceremony and whatnot. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So let's see. They return to Wakanda, in the capital city, which is hidden behind an invisibility force field thingy. We meet his mother, Ramonda, and his younger sister, Shuri. Shuri is a tech genius.
It's cool. It looked so good. I had envisioned just a shield dome around Wakanda, which it kind of was, but they made it look like a mountain in the forest. It just looked really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
Camouflage.
I also really appreciate how they flesh out T'Challa's relationships with the people close to him, even people who are like lower in rank than he is and things. And you see that he has like genuine friendship and camaraderie with all of the people who are tight in his circle.
Yeah.
Like the way that he interacts with Nakia and the way that he interacts with Okoye. Dora Milaje general lady.
Okoye.
He's very familiar in a way that you wouldn't expect a king, quote unquote, to be with people. But I appreciate, and this is because this movie, obviously a lot of cultural things here, but it's very much the idea of like African tribal leadership. Because when you're in a tribal sort of leadership role, it is more community and family based.
Yeah.
And it is like just king, pomp and circumstance type things.
Yeah. We forgot to mention during the production the music in this. It was technically, the composer for the film was Ludwig Göransson, but he did a lot of work with a Senegalese musician, Baba Maal. And Baba Maal appears on the soundtrack a lot. And Kendrick Lamar curated the soundtrack for all of the non-orchestral music. And put out an album, like a compilation album called Black Panther, which was really good. Yeah. All right. So, then we cut to London, the Museum of Great Britain, not the British Museum, by the way.
Didn't want to upset anybody at the British Museum.
Yeah. We'll leave that for Moon Knight.
Which also, I'm pretty sure, is the Museum of
Great Britain.
Not the actual British Museum.
It's not the actual British Museum, but yeah. Seriously, Britain, you got a lot of people's stuff, guys. You might want to look into what that means.
None of that belongs to you.
They straight up block people on social media. If you like comment talking about it, they'll just block you.
Yeah, well, I guess they're going to be pretty mad about this podcast then, but like it's not 1890 anymore. Like, give people their shit back.
Yeah.
Someone in Britain just stopped listening.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Anyways,
but our listeners in India.
Well,
know
it's all good. They can go back to their boiled steak.
Boiled steak and 17 kinds of mushrooms. Anyway. So yeah, in London, we meet Eric Killmonger. He's surveying some items from Africa. He poisons the museum director, who's showing him the items. Claw and his men, disguised as paramedics, come in. They steal a vibranium axe and make their escape. He gets a cool mask too.
The way his character's dialogue with the museum exhibits person, the way it's written, it's off your hands. These items aren't for sale. How did you get them? I'll take them the same way your people did. Mm-hmm. Just nails that commentary on, like, this is plunder, you guys. None of this belongs here.
We watched the director's commentary Googler talking about the film, and he talked about the motif they use of blue for the color of colonization, and how everything with Killmonger and every scene that he's in, even down to graffiti on walls, lighting in the background, it's always blue because he is the colonized trying to become a colonizer.
Yeah, huh? Very interesting. What were you going to say, Al?
Oh, I was saying, how often does the museum director come down and personally interact with a patron of the museum?
When you have a high-funded, like a well-funded person, absolutely. Because they are there to do one thing more than anything, raise money for the museum.
Mm. Oh, yeah, that's right. You worked in museums, didn't you, Brian?
Yeah. The museum CEO doesn't really go out until it's somebody who is like a very, very, very rich benefactor or a possible benefactor.
Let's see. Okoye gets a report of the heist that Clow made with the Vibranium Axe and is going to be selling it in South Korea. T'Challa wants to go on a mission to capture him. Some of his council urge him not to go, but he decides to do so anyway. He's going to bring Okoye and Nakia with him. Then he goes and visits Shuri, and she gives us a "What are those?" which I think was like out of date in 2018.
I still love it. I still love the delivery of it. I think it's hilarious every time.
It was funny.
Yeah.
I was waiting for a damn Daniel.
His sandals?
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved the sneakers bit.
Yeah.
That was good.
I really like the reason why he's wearing those sandals too. I thought I'd go old school for my first day.
Yeah.
Like, it's very human of him.
Yeah. Well, and also, yeah. I love that Shuri likes to do dad jokes too with her sneakers and yeah. So, all right. Then,
also this Savage just kicking her brand new suit across the room.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
Just delays.
But then she recorded the video of him
Yeah. And he's
kicking it the second time for her TikTok.
Yeah, that's right. So we cut to South Korea. They go into an underground casino where they find Everett Ross of the CIA. We get our Stan Lee cameo. Ross is there to capture Claw as well by setting up a fake deal to buy the axe. Claw shows up and a firefight breaks out. Claw attempts to flee. We get our big, long action chase, our Marvel action chase. Claw gets caught by T'Challa, who reluctantly releases him into Ross's custody. The chase was cool. It was good, but I mean, I don't know. Marvel CGI car chases. At this point, I'm so desensitized to them.
Yeah, it's just a Lexus ad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, reminded me of Hawkeye and Black Widow driving through what's it called? Not Latveria. Sokovia.
Sokovia, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's fine. It's fine. It's a Marvel car chase. There was a few cool things with the suit and Black Panther.
Him pulling the tires off and Claw using the gun.
When Claw uses the gun on the car that Nakia is driving, it just kind of obliterates, and she slides up into frame, like still in that one portion of the seat.
Yeah,
with the drive with the wheel still attached. Yeah. It was cute. And the other car that Shuri was remote driving, when it got destroyed, she like falls on the ground.
Yeah,
back in the lap.
Yeah, which was that was also later on when Martin Freeman has to do the same thing with the drones.
Mm-hmm.
That was foreshadowing there. Yeah. So
I feel like this whole sequence, the catching Claw thing, reminds me of Dark Knight, where he wants to get caught.
Yeah,
he wants to get caught so that he can then be broken out.
Yeah,
later. This is all intentional.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, it's. I feel like it's too bad they killed Claw, because he would have been a really. Andy Serkis's Claw is such a great villain. I wish he was still around.
It was a surprise. It was such a surprise when it happened, though.
I would have liked it if he had just taken him to Wakanda.
True.
So he's sitting in a Wakandan jail, and he could be in, freaking Falcon and the Winter Soldier or something. All right.
Hindsight 2020, though, in this movie really shows that because we lost Chadwick.
Yeah.
There are so many corners that Marvel is painted into because of that, and because of the drastic decisions they made. Killing Claw, Killmonger, also.
Yeah, both of those. In custody, Claw tells Ross that Wakanda's international image is a front for a technologically advanced civilization. Killmonger attacks and extracts Claw as Ross is gravely injured protecting Nakia. T'Challa sees Killmonger wearing his father's Wakandan ring around his neck. Rather than pursue Claw, T'Challa takes Ross to Wakanda, where their technology can save him.
Well, and T'Challa says, "I can't let a person die that I'm capable of saving."
Yeah, exactly, because he's
another characterization of him as a good king,
a good man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though
whereas his father left a kid behind after murdering his brother, that's contrasting him with
his own nephew.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, T'Challa later on when he confronts him about it is absolutely right. That was fucked up.
Yeah. And regardless of whether or not he's family, it's fucked up. But this shows like how that kind of morality is not a thing that T'Challa is even capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy's CIA, he's an American. They're the worst.
Yeah.
But I can save him.
Yeah. Exactly. He's
like, I don't know if I would save a CIA agent.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what crimes you perpetrated, dog?
Right? Yeah. All right. Then Eric double crosses and kills Claw, planning to take his corpse to Wakanda. Meanwhile, T'Challa confronts Zuri about Njobu. Zuri explains that Njobu planned to share Wakanda's technology with people of African descent around the world to help them conquer their oppressors. As T'Chaka arrested Njobu attacked Zuri and forced T'Chaka to kill him. T'Chaka ordered Zuri to lie that Njobu had disappeared and left behind Njobu's American son to maintain the lie.
This is an interesting story point to me, revealing that Njobu tried to kill Uncle. What was his name?
Zuri.
Well, his American name though.
I can't remember what the American name was.
Like fucking Brad or something.
Yeah.
Something very, very American.
Sean or something like that.
Yeah. But
Sean was the first thing that popped into my head.
The fact that he turns in anger and kills another Wakandan, it was very interesting, and it made me wonder if that was what happens being in America, being around this colonized nation changes that in you, because it seems like the violence in Wakanda is ritualized, as a way of maintaining the warrior.
I think that you can go back to James Baldwin's quote where he said that to be black in America is to constantly be in a state of like infuriation or to like be driven mad, essentially. Like the state of being in a place completely cut off from your roots, a person of a diaspora, and then to be subjugated within that land and abused systemically for centuries, it disenfranchises a people wholesale. And it does bring about a lot of those more survival instinct sort of impulses.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the contrast of T'Challa versus Killmonger, like as someone who was raised in that American culture and under those conditions compared to someone who was raised in a culture in which they were appreciated and celebrated and were in touch with their roots is incredible in this film.
Well, and leading a relatively pampered life versus the struggle of like getting yourself into the military and MIT.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he's still a king, but I mean,
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like T'Challa, he lived a pretty good life. The royal penis is clean, Your Highness, is definitely not far from his existence.
Yeah, absolutely. But even the goat herding dude is in a much better situation than Killmonger.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, and it also gives you a testament to Killmonger is every bit as exceptional as T'Challa. Because when you think about it, this is a dude who, from the age of like 10, he came up with a plan. He said, I need to do these things. I need to become good at these things. I need to join the military to gain these skills. I need to get my degree to do this. And from like childhood, came up with a coherent plan that he executed over like 2 decades to commit a coup in a country he had no idea how to get to.
Those are some long-term goals. Like, he had a career track. He had his 5-year plan ready. So all right. Killmonger arrives in Wakanda with Claw's body. Ross wakes up in Shuri's care, his wounds healed. He sees their vibranium mining facility. We learn the small plot detail that the little things can make vibranium not work, that the mine carts go in between. Then T'Challa and Nakia discuss Njobu's death and T'Chaka's actions. T'Challa thinks his father made a mistake. He gets a call from Shuri about Killmonger. He goes back to her facility. Ross tells him that Killmonger was a Black Ops U.S. Navy SEAL who left the service and adopted the name Killmonger. He's brought before the tribal elders, revealing his identity as Njadaka, the abandoned son of Njobu. Njadaka. Yeah, my apologies. And claims he has a claim to the throne. Killmonger challenges T'Challa to ritual combat where he kills Zuri, defeats T'Challa, and hurls him over a waterfall to his presumed death. Nakia speeds Shuri and T'Challa's mother away to safety.
He cuts every extremity before going to cut off T'Challa's head.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a beating.
Yeah.
That was a proper beating.
Yeah. He picked him apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He really did.
And then picked him up over his head like a little boy.
Yeah, he did.
That is hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Though, to be fair, you got to make sure they're dead before you throw them over the waterfall. I can't tell you how many times that comes back to bite you in the ass.
Details.
Yes. Then let's see. Back at the palace, Nakia tries to convince Okoye to come away with her into hiding. Okoye insists her loyalty as Adore Milage is to the throne. Nakia takes Ross with her, though. She's like, fine, let's take the white dude. Killmonger ingests the heart-shaped herb. Visiting the astral plane, he talks to his dad, who expresses regret for the way things ended up. He wakes up with the powers of the Black Panther, and then he orders the rest of the heart-shaped herb to be burned, but before it is, Nakia manages to steal a flower.
So the heart-shaped herb caretaker makes a huge mistake here when he asks, is this all this other heart-shaped herb? And she goes, yeah, for a future king.
Yeah.
Not like, yeah, man, this is like our nation's greatest strength. You think that vibranium is powerful. This stuff gives you access to the ancestral plane and to become the Black Panther. Not, yeah, for the next king.
Yeah. Yeah. It should have been, yeah, it really should have been, yes, for in case something happens and you need to take it again.
Yeah. Dog, this is yours to use as you please. You want to trip balls? Go see your dad again? Here you go. Come down and see me.
Well,
I got
also
you.
the dad scene was really great. I love me and Brian talked about this a little bit when we watched it, but how it keeps juxtaposing him as a boy versus him as the man.
Yeah.
While he's talking to his dad. And you can see like sort of the more he's speaking from that place of hurt and loss, he's reflected as the boy, and then the angrier he gets through the interaction, you're seeing him more as Eric, the man.
Yeah.
There's a great shot with this where they show the boy cry, cuts back to Sterling K. Brown as the father, and then back to Michael B. Jordan, tears running down his face. And I'm just like, man, what a way to cut back and forth as the child and the man, showing both of them weeping.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of depictions of men in film weeping, let alone black men in film weeping, let alone the bad guy in a movie weeping, like
having a personal moment. Yeah.
They characterized him like this is like Magneto levels of like, wow, I can begin to grasp his motivations and understand why he would choose to do these things.
Magneto.
I was say Thanos was right, sure, but like his motivations were thin.
Thanos' motivations were like, I'm into urban planning. Like,
yeah.
But no, Magneto and Killmonger are probably the two villains that have the most relatable motivations of any.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's see. Killmonger is crowned king. He takes the throne, telling the council that they have spies embedded in every nation of the world. They're going to activate them, taking over every country on Earth, establishing a worldwide Wakandan empire. Meanwhile, Nakia...
The sun will never set on Wakanda.
Yeah. So, I mean, which is, of course, that's what makes him the villain instead of a anti-hero or a misunderstood hero, is the fact that he wants to become the colonizer.
Right. Because taken from the sun never sets on the British Empire.
Yeah, exactly. That's the, well, you're taking it a little far. Like Magneto, like the League of Evil Mutants, Magneto. You're kind of giving it away there.
It's on the nose, isn't it?
The League of Disenfranchised Mutants.
Yeah, you might want to rethink your branding. The SEO is not good on that. Yeah.
Sorry, it was a brotherhood, not a league.
I'm sorry, the brotherhood, yes. Nakia, Shuri, Ramonda, and Ross flee to the Jabari tribe for aid, intending to give the herb to M'Baku. They find a comatose T'Challa, rescued by the Jabari in repayment for sparing M'Baku's life. They give the herb to T'Challa, and in the spiritual plane, T'Chaka and he speak of their failings. T'Challa swears that if he regains power, he will open up Wakanda to the world. He wakes up, and they plan to stop Killmonger from his taking over the world thing. Shuri was able to keep T'Challa's nanosuit, and Ross also agrees to help. T'Challa tries and fails to convince M'Baku to help him by lending his army to the fight.
I loved M'Baku's vegetarian joke about as much as M'Baku did.
Oh, yeah. I will feed you to my children.
I will feed you to my children. I am just joking. We are vegetarians.
Cracks himself up.
I love M'Baku. Like, has this way. Well, and he brings this weird, like, I want to talk to your manager energy. Like it's he's got this like very like snarky like
yeah,
I'm patronizing you right now.
Yeah, like can you believe this motherfucker here kind of attitude. So let's see, back at the military labs, Killmonger is sending out his first shipment of weapons. T'Challa downs the plane and challenges Killmonger to finish the ritual combat. Killmonger dons his own nanotech suit, similar to T'Challa's, while Wakabi decides to go ahead and just fight for Killmonger, while the Dora Milaje side with T'Challa. Ross remotely pilots a jet to shoot down planes carrying the vibranium weapons. M'Baku and the Jabari arrive as a surprise to reinforce T'Challa. During the battle, confronted by Okoye, W'Kabi and his army stand down. It was real subtle that Okoye and W'Kabi were like an item.
I think that's why they had the conversation earlier with both T'Challa and W'Kabi, where they had the 3-way phone call, and she says, "My king, my love."
Yeah, they got called at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like that was
But also when they look at each other and they're like, "I guess we're both in trouble."
Yeah, I feel like that was a reshoot to clarify that because there wasn't enough evidence to show.
Yeah.
I don't think they mentioned it. I don't think it came up in this movie, but I neglected to mention it earlier. Okoye was from that tribe.
Oh, okay.
So the Dora Milaje, they are not all from the Panther tribe.
Okay. So let's see.
They're taken from all the other tribes.
T'Challa and Killmonger square off and fighting in Wakanda's vibranium mine. T'Challa disrupts Killmonger's suit and is able to stab him. Killmonger, refusing to be healed, chooses to die a free man rather than be incarcerated. T'Challa takes him to the waterfall where they fought, where Killmonger dies peacefully watching the sunset. That was a great villain
Probably
death
the
scene.
most bars we've gotten from Yeah, but definitely the most bars we've gotten from a villain while they're dying. Like, bury me in the ocean. Like, that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Like my ancestors.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's
they
tough.
knew death was better than bondage.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Fucking Killmonger, man.
Still the most compelling villain I think that Marvel has had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's up there.
So, T'Challa, we cut to some time later. T'Challa kisses Nakia, convinces her to stay in Wakanda. In Oakland, T'Challa and Shuri visit the apartment where his uncle lived and died. He plans on opening a cultural outreach center. He reveals his ship to a group of kids playing basketball. One asks who he is, and before he can answer, credits roll. In a mid-credit sequence, T'Challa appears before the United Nations to reveal Wakanda's true nature to the world. And in an after-credit sequence, Bucky Barnes, now awake, is helped in his healing by Shuri. And
which back when Ross was brought in, Shuri had a line, "Another broken white boy for us to fix."
Yep. When T'Challa does not say, "I am the Black Panther," or "I am the King of Wakanda" to this kid, I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is a callback to the first Iron Man without saying it. But then the mid-credit scene where they're like, how is Wakanda supposed to help? You're all a bunch of sheep herders. And then he smirks and it cuts to black. Both of those things, I was like, man, that sucks as a tease, because I would have loved for him to say, you have no idea who we are, or something to that effect, instead of like, the next thing I say is going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we don't get enough of how the world sees Wakanda as a result of those two choices.
Yeah, it would have been nice to be like, you have no idea. Like, just something like that.
Like, you think Stark tech is advanced. Wait till you see my spaceship Bugatti.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman's brief tenure in Marvel is one of the greatest what-ifs of superhero franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because I mean, he got 3 movies. Well, 3 and I guess Endgame and Infinity War are 2 different movies technically, but you know.
Yeah, but he doesn't do much in Endgame itself.
No, he has a much bigger role in Infinity War, though not huge.
Yeah.
Speaking of what if, the what if T'Challa was Star-Lord was probably the best one.
That was so good. I loved
Going to show how good
When he
of a
convinces
person he
Thanos.
was.
Yeah, he just convinces Thanos to be. But Thanos is constantly explaining his plan to people. Be like, it could work.
Yeah.
Half of
Every
everything.
time. He's like,
It is efficient.
not genocide.
Yeah.
It's not genocide because it's random.
It's not genocide because it's
Because it's
random.
random.
I love the hopeful tone of that was the last that we saw of T'Challa.
Mhm.
You know, like
Yes.
that they didn't take some dark turn on the character or
Yeah.
something like that. Like this is the possibility of this
Like-
kind of character.
They take this character out into space and it makes the galaxy better.
Yeah.
Yes, he literally has a profound effect on every planet and every person they encounter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he's that pure and that good. Like, it's fucking T'Challa, man.
I have high hopes for the sequel to this movie because of the challenge that they have to overcome. Like, there's going to be no one better, and that will be probably the path that film will take. It's like, how do you live up to someone as great as T'Challa or Chadwick also? Because arguably he is better than Chris Evans ever was as like the human behind the character from fans' interactions and things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and all this, like, going to cancer wards while he himself is fighting cancer. Like,
Yeah, man.
Dude.
Has
And just
candor.
like cheerful and stoic in the face of his own mortality, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, he was that.
Well, I respect his wife, who he had married like right before he passed. She had said that he had made it like, I think, like, to the point where it was almost like contractually obligated that it was never brought up in the media,
Yeah.
like from Marvel's end, because he didn't want anyone to know. He was like, I want to enjoy what time I've got left. I want to be a superhero and do this thing, and I want to be able to embody it. And that was like a big thing for him. I know one of my friends actually ran into him when he was training for this movie, because he would go down to Tampa where my friend was living to train, and he was like, he met him and he was like, he was a super nice guy, but it was one of those weird things looking back on him. He said, you know, he looked kind of tired when I saw him. Like he looked like not just tired, but like haggard. And it's one of those things where it's crazy to see how fast he kind of went. Because in this, he's like super, like, you, even physically, he looks really vital and he's there and he's ready to go. But then you get even to like kind of the last few things he filmed, like the one Spike Lee movie he was in, and you could see that he was like getting sick very quickly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, those, like Ma Rainey's, like there's scenes in there where he's not looking good.
Oh, the Five Bloods. Is that what you're talking about, Jay?
The Five Bloods, yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That was one of the great tragedies
But
of
again,
film history.
Respect to Chadwick, because Chadwick knew he had a limited amount of time left, and boy did he capitalize, because he had been diagnosed, I think, all the way back when he was like working on the James Brown movie.
Yeah. It was before he ever got cast as Black Panther. Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing, an amazing life. So I don't know. You guys about ready to rank this thing?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of. All right. There's our rankings.
Sort of. So I'm thinking behind Swamp Thing.
I mean, everything goes wrong.
You know, Jay, I'll second that.
So this is tough for me. I feel like it needs to go near the top. The exact location I'm torn on, because it gets really hard to parse out those top ones, like those top like 5 to 7.
I will say I think Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it is better than one of those two. That's my thought.
Yeah, I think it's definitely better. I think it's a better movie than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 personally. Definitely.
Yeah. I could vibe with that.
I'm not sure how it stands against Iron Man and Ragnarok.
See, this is weird to me because I almost look at it and I go, I don't know if I think it's better than Winter Soldier, but I do think it's better than Iron Man.
That's just welcome to the rankings. That's just how
welcome to the rankings.
That's just how this stupid shit works. Like none of them are right.
I almost want to be like, can we do like an auteur tier where it's like a tie between Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther?
Right.
Because I mean, these were like two of the strongest Marvel movies that have been dropped, like back to back, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, this hits a lot of beats that Iron Man does not. Iron Man does not emotionally connect with me. Once it makes me laugh.
Oh sure.
But this movie,
it's just a lot of fun. Yeah, there's nothing.
This makes me think about humanity on a grand scale in so many different ways.
Yeah.
it could go right behind Ragnarok.
This one is hard. I don't know. Brian and Al?
I do like that. I like that placement above Iron Man, below Ragnarok.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. We're going to put it right there. Black Panther goes at number 6 between Ragnarok and Iron Man, which brings us to the end of Black Panther, which means it is time for us to look ahead to next week's episode. Next week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching Infinity War.
We're already there?
We're already to Infinity War. Yeah, there was not a superhero movie in between Black Panther and Infinity War. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's next week. We're really getting there, guys. We've got like 30 movies left on our list.
Man.
Which sounds like a lot, but Black Panther was our 130th superhero movie, so...
so many movies.
We've watched a lot of movies. A lot of superhero movies. Oh, my God. That is next week on Harmless Phosphorescence. Until then, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been your host, Thoreau Smiley. And the corset I'm wearing in my shirt is really uncomfortable. So can we all just wrap it up and go home?
To think you saw me as just another crazy American. I'm Brian Lesh.
And now the powers of the Black Panther will be stripped away. I'm Jeremy Reed.
Oh, beautiful. I'm Alaric Weber. Yet another broken white boy.
We'll get you fixed, Al.
We'll get you fixed.
Or Spade. I don't know how that works.
We did. We forgot to mention that Gollum and Bilbo got to have a scene together in this movie.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So, all right, that's it.
No riddles.
Yeah. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.